take some notes on how well Eric does. Thank you, Eric.
Yay!
It's a little loud in here. Still too loud. That sounds about right. Good. Left a minute. So I did not realize there was going to be this many people. I had no idea. My wife really calmed me down. She let me know that it's just a bunch of moms and diabetic kids. So that made me feel a lot better about being here. I'm not famous. I'm not on TV. Not in professional sports. So I'm sorry to disappoint any of you who are expecting to see somebody big time up here. But frankly, when I was chosen to speak, I questioned it myself a bit. I wasn't really sure why I was the keynote speaker for this event. But I'm really happy to be here. And I love that video. There's a line in there that talks about don't let it steal your joy. You guys are watching the video. And that really hits home for me, because that's why I'm here to talk to everybody tonight. And I won't take a lot of your time. I'll also share that this is my son, Jonah. I call him Doc.
Yay!
Doc's also a type 1 diabetic. Do we have anybody else in this room, parent-child diabetic team? Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about my life, and I'll also share with you later on how my biggest fear in life became my biggest motivation. And I'll get to that later on in the story. But first, I have a question for the group. How many of you in here drink bottled water? You're clapping for bottled water? How much would you pay for a bottle of water? Would any of you pay $3 for a bottle of water? Let me see a show of hands. $3 for a bottle of water? $2?
Yep.
I'm surprised. I see a lot of people drinking water. I thought maybe $2 would be a reasonable price. So let me ask you, that same bottle of water, if you had traveled through the desert for a day with no fluids, and you're at the end of the walk, it's been 9 hours and 110 degrees, and your tongue felt like sandpaper, how much would you pay for that bottle of water? It's getting a little loud in here. Come on, everybody. Would you pay $20 for a bottle of water? My outlook on diabetes will probably be surprising to you. I've had it since I was 9, so I've had it 27 years. And frankly, if you told me that there was a cure today, I don't know if I would take it. And that might shock a lot of you. But it's done a lot for me as a person. And when you think about that bottle of water, that's really how I've looked at the disease my whole life. It's a great motivator, and more than anything, it's really taught me how to value things, how to value happiness. It's kept me grounded as a person. And I wonder sometimes if I didn't have diabetes, what I'd be like. And there was also a comment in that video that said that diabetes is not who you are. I actually disagree with that. Diabetes is a huge part of who I am. It's essentially built the design for my personality, and it's really helped me to value success in life. And also, when I look at people who don't have diabetes, all I want to do is beat them. Not physically, but I want to beat them in whatever I do. It's made me absolutely obsessive, compulsive, competitive. So, I'll go back to my childhood. I'll just share with you, when I was diagnosed, I thought I was dying. I remember my mom, with the pediatrician, bawling. She thought that I had leukemia, and that this was a death sentence, and it was the end of me. And she cried and cried. I couldn't stop her, so I started crying. And then quickly, the doctor told us, it's not a death sentence, you're going to be just fine. All you have to do is take care of yourself. And they shared with me, when I was in the hospital, all the side effects that you can have from diabetes. And that is what really drove me to be more healthy than, frankly, anybody that doesn't have diabetes. I didn't want to go blind. I didn't want to lose my arm. Didn't want to lose my kidney. All I wanted was to play Major League Baseball for the Yankees. I named my oldest daughter Mattingly, if you think I'm kidding. Yeah, her name is Mattingly, after Donnie Baseball. I wanted to be successful in business. That was a goal that I had set long ago. I wanted to have a family. I wanted a beautiful wife. And yes, beautiful was the prerequisite, so I'm very shallow, admittedly. She's got a great head on her shoulders, too. She's a really good person, a great heart. And from that day forward, when I left the hospital, I never looked back. I've had rough days. I know what it's like to have a seizure. I know all the things that come along with diabetes. But you know what? It toughens you up. It toughens you up pretty good. And the little setbacks in life, you don't even feel them. You become immune to it completely. So I talk to college kids and their parents of college kids that are going in a year, they're going to head away from college, and they're all tormented about this. And the question they usually ask me is, how many times a day do you check your blood sugar? Whoever's saying, shh, you got the right idea. Who is that? There we go. They ask me how many times a day I check my blood sugar. And I say, I check it 6, 7 times a day. 50% of those college kids and their parents look at me and go, oh my God, how do you do that? Are you kidding me? Like, how many times a day do you check? And they say, oh, 1, 2 times a day. And that is where I just sit down, I stare at them, and I have a good discussion with them about the difference between looking at diabetes as a race to the finish line or a journey. And if you're playing this game to just get through until tomorrow, I assure you, if you check your blood sugar a couple times a day, you'll be just fine when you wake up. But long term, you're going to have problems. It is a journey, and you have to take care of yourself. So let me go back to what I said at the beginning. I shared with you all that my biggest fear became my biggest motivation. Take a guess. What was my biggest fear in life? I've had this fear since high school. It's tormented me. It was a fear that one of my kids would have diabetes. I could not bear the thought of that. Frankly, it was one of the reasons why, if anything, I would consider not having kids. It was that reason alone. And when my third kid came out, I had 3. I had an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. When the youngest, Tegan, was born, I thought I hit the jackpot. I thought that I had finally beat science and beat DNA, because none of my kids looked anything like me. Take a look at this kid. He doesn't look like my son. Blonde hair, fair skin. I thought that I had won. But when Jonah turned 4, shortly after Halloween, it happened. He got diagnosed. And I flipped out. I gotta tell you, my wife is pretty strong because it hit me hard. It was almost like watching your life constantly. For 2 days I stood there. It was like a repeating clip of my life over and over. And emotionally it was breaking me down. And then I walked into the hospital room one day and I see Doc sitting there in the hospital bed. He's got the blood clicker in his hand. He clicks his finger and he's smiling at me like nothing's wrong. And then he pulls his pants down, he grabs a needle, and he's smiling at me. He said, Dad, give me the shot. And I said, oh my God, what am I so worried about? What am I so concerned about? This guy here became my biggest motivation in life, bar none. And I will tell you, I can already tell that it has made him stronger. All of you in this room probably love your kids very much. That's a natural emotion. I think that's just nature doing its thing. But I ask you, have you ever asked yourself, do I respect my kids? And when you think about respect, when you think about a 4-year-old, That's not a normal emotion. But I have a lot of respect for this guy here. And more than anything, I am really excited about the fact that he's going to have the challenges that I had. And it's automatic to me. I know he'll be a success because he gets to enjoy walking through the desert every day of his life, drinking a cool glass of water. So, to the parents out there, take care of your kids, be good role models. It's inspired from a death sentence. It's a blessing that you do it the right way. All right, enjoy your dinner.